Alrighty, so my name is Lisa Swain, and I'm the Director of Customer Experience here at Teamzy. I want you to consider me a resource for you, even beyond tonight's call. If you're thinking, I'm sometimes a little bit tech challenged, or I might need a little more help, stick with me after tonight's call. I am going to share my direct contact information with you so that you can reach out if you need help along the way. Alrighty, so here is what I have planned. We're going to start by jumping into how to set up Teamzy. I know sometimes that can be the scary point. You know, you're thinking, I've got to transition all of this data. How do I know where to find things? Not to worry. After tonight's call, I'm going to let you know exactly what to expect and how to keep that setup process as painless as possible. Okay, so once we've talked through setup, we're going to jump into your power hour sessions. I'm going to really highlight for you the different features that you should focus on so that you're getting the most out of, the time that you have dedicated to the business. So once we've talked about power hours, last but not least, we're going to talk about following up like a pro, because I know it and you know it. The fortune's in the follow-up, but all too often that can be the uncomfortable place for people. They're thinking, I don't want to nag or bother anyone. So I'm going to show you how you can manage all of your follow-ups in the system and how you can love on people through your follow-ups without feeling like you're nagging or bothering anyone. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we're going to jump right in. I am recording tonight's session, so for any of your colleagues, friends, peers, what have you that weren't able to join us live, I will send out a replay link to everyone who is registered, so keep an eye out for that. Alrighty, so when we're talking setup in Teamzy, before I actually jump in, if you're not aware of this, you have access to a free 30-day trial of our system. So I want to make sure that you take advantage of that trial. So you want to go ahead over to teamzy.com and access your free 30-day trial. There's no credit card necessary. You get to just sort of jump in and actually start to build the habit of using a new system like this. So free 30-day trial, that's your first step. Once you've got that free 30-day trial set up, you can jump right into Teamzy, and the system is almost going to drop you right into the setup process. It kind of wants you to focus there. If you've been clicking around and sort of familiarizing yourself, no worries. You can get back to that setup wizard by clicking the wheel in the upper right-hand corner. From there, we're going to come down to Setup Wizard, and it's going to redirect us to our 3-step setup process. So we're going to keep this as painless as possible. I'm going to make sure that you're kind of focused on the areas that you need to contribute information to, and then we'll kind of move on from there. So step 1, for setting up Teamzy specifically, our first step is going to be to create an income goal. So you're actually going to consider, where do you want to be 12 months from today as far as income is concerned? Now, this is not simply going to be a pretty placeholder or something that you glance over at from time to time. Teamzy is going to use this number. It's going to take your income goal for 12 months, and it's actually going to calculate the number of highly productive activities that it would take for you to achieve that income in 12 months. So give that some real thought. Step number 1, income goal, okay? Step number 2, we're going to create and actually save a powerful why statement in your Teamzy. So many of you have heard of a powerful why statement. It's a tool that's becoming widely used, especially for those that are really spending some time on their personal development. We have built this in as an actual element of Teamzy because we believe it to be that instrumental to the process. Anytime you want to make a change outward facing, to your in your family, business, anything, it has to start internally. It has to start with the internal self-talk, the internal influences. So a powerful why is a great tool that helps you to sort of layer in how you're talking to yourself, how you're influencing yourself as you go through the day. So step 2, we're going to talk through how to create a powerful why. Stick with me. I'm going to take you through each of these steps in real time. Alrighty, step 3, we're going to actually import those contacts, the meat of setup, okay? I know, and this can be the point where everybody's thinking, oh no, it's all right, deep breath. If nothing else, you will have me as a resource at the end of tonight's call where you can just say, you know what, this is not what Jay said it would look like. That's okay, you can reach out to me directly and I can take care of it for you, walk you through it, help your team through it, whatever the case is, we've got your back. So step 3, we're going to import those contacts. There is a video on each of our Setup Wizard pages. It kind of takes you through what we're talking about live. So let's scroll down and take a look at what the setup wizard looks like in real time. Oh, and I may have fast forwarded this. If you have questions as I'm going through and presenting, please feel free to use the question and answer section. Should be right or left of your screen, depending on the browser that you're using. And I will carve out some time at the end of my presentation to jump right into those. All right, so back in it. So first step in the setup process, we are going to set our income goal. So again, this is going to be on a 12-month basis. So if you're used to setting them weekly, monthly, just go ahead and take a step back and calculate that on an annual basis. Again, not just a pretty placeholder. This is going to actually drive your daily activities. So you want to take some time here and consider where you actually want to be 12 months from now and what you want to do to get there. Okay, so let's say I want to make $100,000 in the next 12 months. I'm going to hit continue. And Teamzy is going to take its initial swing at breaking down my number of highly productive activities. Okay, it lets me know, Jay, if you want to make $100,000 over the next 12 months, you're going to need to connect 2,899 times. Okay, for those of us that have more lofty goals or more ambitious goals, that first number might seem like a lot. It might seem like, oh, that's way too, how do I even, let's just stop for a moment. I want you to consider how many people you're already connecting with on a daily basis. You can get a ballpark number. From there, now calculate it weekly. Got that number? Okay, let's calculate it monthly. From there, if you were to take a step back and consider how many people you are already connecting with on an annual basis, the number would be staggering. You are simply taking an intentional approach, okay? You're setting your eyes on a specific prize. I can do this. So, all right, Teamzy lets me know $100,000, 2,899 connects, but that's really over 12 months. What does that look like on a daily basis? What do I really need to do now? Let's hit continue, come along with us, and let's see what Teamzy breaks that down to. Alrighty, $100,000, 2,899 connects over 12 months. Actually only breaks down to about 6 connections to my prospects, 4 to my customers, and 3 to my coaches in this example, because I'm using a Beachbody system. But of course, you would be able to customize this based on whether you're working with consultants or presenters or whatever the case may be for your network. So in this case, you can accept the recommended. You can say, you know what, okay, I can do that every day. Or you might step back and say, well, I do that before lunch. So you're fantastic. Those of you that were thinking that, you're awesome. Keep up the good work, okay? What you can do here is sort of customize the goals per your dynamic. You might be killing it right now, and you're thinking, you know what? I just want to challenge myself. I really need to put my head down and get in the game. I'm going to go for 10 connections to my prospects. And you know what? I'm going to do 5 customers and 3 presenters or 4 consultants, whatever the case is for your network. So the point here is that you can actually customize the goals per your current situation or where you are in the business. So the same can be said for any of you that are thinking, I'm brand new to my network. I don't necessarily have customers or, business builders, people that are in this to also grow a team. I don't have people like that yet. Not to worry. That is a temporary status, okay? So what you want to do is just sort of customize per what you can actually do right now. So I would, if I have no customers and I don't have any presenters or consultants, I would just go ahead and make these 0. And I would take, let's say, the 7 or 8 that were in these columns, and I'm going to add them to my prospect area. So now I'm applying all of my focus to my prospect pool so that I can eventually convert more people into customer and into coaches or into consultants or into presenters. Okay. So that's going to be how you sort of customize your goals as we're going along. I apologize, guys. I seem to have developed a bit of a sniffle. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let's say I'm going to accept the recommendation from Teamzy. In addition to my connection goals for my prospects, for my customers, and for my coaches, Teamzy is also going to give me goals for invites and daily ads. So we're going to talk about each of these categories. So daily invites are basically going to be intentional calls to action. So anytime you connect with someone, but you're intentionally asking them to join you for an event, you're inviting them for a three-way call, to join you for a challenge group, to try a product of any kind. Anything that calls that person to take action that you might want to follow up on, okay? So those are going to get you a little bit closer to your overall goal, so we set that specific for you every day. So in addition to your connection goal, you're going to have 3 daily invites that you need to send out, and Teamzy is going to remind you of that daily. In addition to the invite goal, you're also going to have a daily ads goal or a daily additions. So we designed Teamzy to be a lead generation system, or a system that initiates inquiry or interest into the products and services that you offer. So it was important for us to make this more obvious feature really available, where you're setting your eyes on that prize, where I need to be introducing new people to the products and services that I offer in order to grow my team. So that's all that is. Have you met anyone brand new, face-to-face and belly-to-belly? Have you accepted any new friend requests online, anything like that? These are going to constitute increasing or growing your database and your team. So once you've gotten to the bottom of this page and you're satisfied with your goals, you can always hit continue. I do want to say that you can come back to this area. You can edit based on where you are, at that time in the year. You can sort of challenge yourself at that point, or you can walk it back if you need to. So this is something that can evolve with you as you move through the system. We will hit continue, and we are on to the second step in the setup process, which is finding that powerful why. Our creator and founder here at Teamzy, Eric Johnson, does a really great job of sharing his process and why he thought it was so instrumental to build in the powerful why tool. And you can watch this video here if you'd like to listen. So we'll hit continue, and it will actually unfold for us the Finding My Why exercise. So this is really great because even if you're thinking, Jay, I have no idea what you're talking about, this just seems a little bit California fruits and nuts for me. Not to worry. So listen, the way that you want to consider it is, it's one thing to have goals, but it's another thing to understand why you're pursuing those goals, especially when you're met with the challenges, the objections, the outright rejections, right? Those difficult days where you're thinking, why am I going to get up and do this again tomorrow? Your powerful why ends up being a whisper, a response in that moment, in your own voice, of why you got in this business to begin with, why you should persevere right here and right now. So give the exercise its due, okay? Answer a question at a time, even if you're thinking, this seems a little bit weird. How is this gonna help me build my business? Just give in to the system. Alrighty, so you're answering one question at a time. Why did I become a coach? What did you hope to accomplish? Why is that important to you? Each question begins to sort of deepen the overall why for you. So answer a question at a time. If you get to the very bottom of this page, what I want you to make sure is that you've actually saved your answers above in the final paragraph where you see my why. If by any chance you proceed beyond this and you get to your dashboard and you're thinking, oh, where is my powerful why? I don't see it. It's because you have not saved it in this final paragraph. So you can head back to your setup wizard, like I showed you earlier, by clicking that wheel in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll bring you here, and you can go ahead and basically copy and paste the answers above into that final paragraph. All right, when you're satisfied, you'll hit continue. Okay, from there, we're at the third step in the setup process. We're just zipping along, guys. Alrighty, so we're getting ready to import contacts into the system. Now, I know that I'm chatting with some people from different networks tonight, so if you're thinking you have a specific challenge or a specific question about your setup process, please feel free to jump in the Q&A. I will answer questions in real time after my presentation. And then anything beyond, if you'd like a little more one-on-one help, stick around because I'm going to share that contact info with you. Okay, so when we are talking imports to Teamzy, we are aware that you have lists all over the place, okay? You've got one in Facebook, one in your back office. You've got a custom spreadsheet that you created with 101 columns, every note you've ever sent them. That's okay. We have designed the system to accept those files, okay? So definitely bring them into the system. You've spent a lot of time compiling that data, so we want you to use it. So I do have a few tips, however, on how you can sort of navigate that process as painlessly as possible. So My first tip is about the order in which you import those files into Teamzy. So I'm going to say that again. My first tip is about the order in which you import your files into Teamzy. So we are going to start with your customers and other business builders from your network, okay? And those lists usually live in your back office tool. So it would be, where you've got your list of your volume, what you've sold, customer details, things like that. If you're unsure, when you log into your Teamzy and you come to this setup wizard, the instructional video for your network will be the very first one that you see here. For example, because I'm demonstrating on a Beachbody network, on a Beachbody version of Teamzy, it has the video here for exporting from their back office. So you're just going to take a look around and you will find that video. If you need additional help, reach out to me and I'd be happy to get you through that. Okay, so we are starting with your customers and other business builders from your network. So you're going to pull that from your back office. The system has been coded to accept that file exactly in the state that it's in when you export it from your back office, okay? So just go ahead and follow the instructional video. If any of it seems like it's going sideways or you need a little more help, reach out and we'd be happy to help. Okay, so starting customers and business builders. From there, I want you to focus on any of those custom spreadsheets that you may have created, okay? So, first and last name, it might have an address column, some notes, future follow-up date, that kind of thing. Bring that into Teamzy because you've done a lot of work compiling that info and it will have a place in the system. So, customers and other business builders. Then we're gonna focus on your custom spreadsheets. After that, I want you to bring in your email services. So do you use Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, AIM? Almost all email services are compiling an address book for you, where it's basically going to be a list of everyone you've ever emailed or corresponded with through email. This is a great source for you to kind of figure out who haven't you been serving or a new pool of people that you can start to connect with or reconnect with in some cases. So customers and other business builders from your team and your downline. And then your custom spreadsheets. After your custom spreadsheets, I want you to go ahead and bring in your email services. Once you bring in your email services, then I want you to focus on LinkedIn connections. LinkedIn connections. So if you are not currently connecting with people through LinkedIn, it doesn't necessarily apply to you. If you have, that is a really, really great list because LinkedIn, unlike other social media platforms, will allow you to actually own and export that data. So you'll get a list of first and last name, where they currently work, their title, phone number, address, if they make that information public. So it's a really, really great source of information, especially if you've been connecting with people through LinkedIn. Once you bring in your LinkedIn connections, then you can go ahead and focus on any of your mobile device contacts. So if you're an Android or an iPhone user, you can actually pull a list of those phone contacts and bring those into Teamzy. We also have a video and a step-by-step instructions, so stick around and I'll show you how to access those. Once you bring in the phone contacts and basically every other file, okay, then you want to focus on Facebook and social media very last. The reason that I recommend Facebook and other means of social media like Instagram or Twitter after the other files is because Facebook, unlike LinkedIn, does not allow you to own and export your data. So they see them as friends, but the data does not belong to you. You're going to pull and export from Facebook, and it's going to be a list of first and last names only, okay? Which is still very useful. You are creating a master list of sorts, okay? So that no one falls through the cracks. No more connecting with only the low-hanging fruit, okay? You're gonna be able to kind of get in and connect with everyone in your database in a consistent manner. So definitely bring in those Facebook files, but try and limit those toward later in your imports or last. At this point, I usually get the question, well, I've already started importing and I started with my Facebook. That's okay. You can undo an import and I will show you that after I show you how to import a file. All right, so these videos are basically going to show you how to export from these locations. So how do I export from my back office? That will be the first video on this page. Then you're going to have the export instructions for Facebook. And then ultimately a video on how to import those files into Teamzy. But we'll do that together here in real time. So Before I move on, I do have one tip for something that has been coming up for a few folks. It's not affecting everyone. So with your Facebook export, pardon me. So with your Facebook export, what's going on is we're noticing that Facebook is changing the way that some can pull their information. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, Jay, I requested my information days ago or a week ago or honestly, any more than 1 hour ago, if you requested your Facebook data more than 1 hour ago, then what you want to do is follow these instructions. You're going to head back to Facebook. And you would have already gone through this process, so it will look familiar to you. So you'll go back to your Facebook. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click on that caret icon again. You're going to come down to your settings. From here, the very last option on this page is going to be download a copy of my Facebook data. If I click here, it's going to give you that same looking button where it says download my archive instead of start my archive. So what you're going to do is click on download my archive. What happened here is that Facebook skipped a step, okay? They told you they were going to send you an email with the file, but what they did is they actually saved it right in your Facebook automatically, but they just didn't tell you about it. So if you've been waiting any more than 1 hour for your Facebook data, head back to this area and see if you've got a little button that says download my archive. Any challenges beyond that, reach out to me directly. Okay, so we are back to Teamzy. Now that we're ready to import our files into the system, let's take a look at how easy that is. When you're ready to select your file, you're going to want to be conscious of the format, okay? Is this a Facebook file? Is this a file that came from my back office? Or is this a CSV file? Comma, separated value, CSV. So we have our formats listed on this page for you, just in case if you need a little reminder. But then let's say I have some folks on the call that are thinking, well, Jay, I don't even know how to check a format. Not to worry. What you can do is simply select the file. Don't agonize over this. We built in a filter for you, so it'll let you know yes or no, okay? So let's see what that looks like. I will choose my file. Teamzy is going to run that initial filter, and it lets me know, okay, this file is ready to be uploaded. So you're looking for this little green check mark here with the word file uploaded. If you get a little red X or the spinning wheel of doom, not to worry, you can always pick up the phone and contact me. Usually my phone number will flash on the screen, or you can always reach out to me because you'll have my contact information after tonight's call. Alrighty, so let's say this file is ready to be imported. Before I hit continue, before you move on, you can actually do a few things right on this page. I can click on advanced import options, and now Teamzy will allow me to tag this entire file or apply an identifier of sorts. When you're bringing in lists from multiple locations, or if you're someone who maybe has batches, you know, of customers who purchase certain products, or if you're pursuing certain business builders after an event, or if you want to do a follow-up from a challenge group, or from you know, a three-way call or something along those lines, you can actually apply an identifier here so that when you take a single glance at each of these contacts, you'll know where they came from, or you'll know the nature of that relationship and how you want to connect and serve them moving forward. So let's say this was a list of my Facebook friends. I would simply click in the tag area and I would start to type my tag name. You can create as many or as few of these as you need to. So if this is a list of my Facebook friends, I can leave it at Facebook. But let's say it's also people that are interested in a certain product. I could literally type the product name there, and then I can move on. And now this is going to be applied to each individual. If there are 500 names or 1,000 names, each person will now have this tag. So go ahead and use that, because it'll stack the odds in your favor when you start using the system, because you'll have sort of a way to jog your own memory. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit continue here, and we'll move on to the next step. Teamzy is going to automatically map my file. It's going to put the phone numbers with the phone numbers. It's going to put the email addresses with the email addresses, and so on. So I'll go ahead and hit continue. And Teamzy is now going to bring in those contacts, and it's going to do something very, very important. It is going to search for duplicates. As you are at the stage where you're consolidating lists down and sort of creating, like I said, that master list, Teamzy is going to search for duplicates every time you add a new file, every time you manually add someone to your database. It's going to say, you know, this person already exists, so we're not going to bring them in a second time, and I'm just going to bring in the next batch of people. So know that every time you bring in a file, Teamzy is scrubbing it down for duplicates on the back end, okay? It's searching, however, for unique email addresses. Unique email addresses. So in today's day and age where folks have tons of email addresses, you may have someone that, say, has one email with you as a customer and then another to sign up for their LinkedIn account, or maybe they gave you a different one when they email you personally. So you may have some duplicates that slip through. In that case, you'll manually merge those up. Stick with me, I'll show you the easiest way to do that. All right, guys, we have completed the first 3 major steps of setup, okay? We have set our income goal. We have created that powerful why, and we have imported our contacts. So now, even though we've fulfilled the major steps, there is an element that Teamzy needs us to finish, which is ranking and prioritizing your database. So one of the elements that makes Teamzy truly different and unique from other CRMs on the market is that, yes, we allow you to set goals. But with those goals, we give you an itemized action plan. Oftentimes, action plans will only be a half measure, right? It tells you what to do, but not who to do it with or when, right? So what we've done in Teamzy is we've built a system, okay? A system of algorithms that are monitoring the last point of communication with each of your contacts. And it's then going to check that against their priority so that you're always connecting with certain people in certain frequency. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Teamzy wants you to take a hard look at every single prospect, every single customer, every single business builder that's on your team. And we want you to say, okay, is this person a 5-star or a rock star, you know, a really hot lead, someone that I want to connect with every 30 days like clockwork. So that's really what the ranks mean, is that it corresponds to a default follow-up cycle. If I give this person a 5-star, that means that Teamzy is going to prompt me to connect with this person every 30 days, no matter what, so no one falls through the cracks. You'll go down the list, and you'll also pick out your 4 stars, okay? Or people most likely to become a customer or coach with a little nurturing, or an existing customer or coach who's a consistent performer. Maybe someone you want to connect with every 60 days, like clockwork. So again, every ranking has a default follow-up window. Pardon me, guys. 3 stars will come up every 90 days. 2 stars every 120 days. And your 1 stars will never show up for automatic follow-up. So I want to talk to you about that 1-star group really quickly. I recommend that you use your 1 stars as kind of a holding tank, okay? For maybe other consultants or other presenters from your team who maybe you'd like to save their information on file. It's great to have, but you don't necessarily want them muddying the waters of your daily reminders and follow-ups and action items, okay? They'll be in the system, so you can search for them if you need to. You can log a connection if you ever have one, but you're not going to be reminded, like all of the others, to periodically check in. Okay, so that's going to be your ranking breakdown. Now, when you're ready to start this process, I'll show you how easy that'll be. This video, again, like most of the others during the Setup Wizard, will take you through what we chatted through live. Okay, so once we select rank, Teamzy is going to put me on the easiest page to do that ranking process, okay? So it's going to unfold for me all of the names in my database, so every single person, whether they were manually added or imported the way that you just watched me do. Okay, so how do you know you're in the all category? Above the list of names, you have the word all. And then if you follow that all the way to the right here, you'll see that there's a number of total contacts in the upper right-hand corner, just so that you have an idea of how many people are in your database at any given time. Not sure if my pointer is kind of wiggling around there for you guys, but it's up in that upper right-hand corner. Okay, when you are ready to actually start ranking, again, you're just gonna take a hard look at at each name, and you're gonna say, you know what, this person's a 4-star, or this person is a 5-star. Now, at this stage, I always get people that say to me, well, this is overwhelming. I have 1,000 names, 2,000 names. Okay. In this case, we recommend that you start by cherry picking your 4 and your 5 stars. Okay. So you're going to start by cherry picking your 4 and your 5 stars. So you would just go down this list and select or adjust the people that jump out at you. These lists are going to evolve. You're going to have an opportunity to make changes to their ranking and their priority as you move through, as you progress in the system. So during setup, again, I recommend that you do your best to cherry pick all of your 4s and your 5 stars. Now, something else that you'll notice is that Teamzy has applied a 3-star ranking to every single person that you imported, okay? This is almost like a safety net of sorts. So even if it takes you a little bit of time to get moving, you know, to kind of build that momentum and rank everyone, Teamzy is going to go ahead and start serving people up to you so that no one falls through the cracks. They don't just disappear, okay? So you've got everybody at 3 stars to begin with. You would simply go down this list. I would say, you know what, Marlo's a 4-star. Oh yeah, Rachel's definitely a 5-star. Laura, oh, you know what? Laura, for whatever reason, does not need to be in my database. So I can actually click here to the right of Laura's ranking. You'll see a little baby trash can icon. If I click there, it's going to display my confirmation. I can delete that person outright, moves the rest of my list up, and I can just keep chipping away. So it's that easy to remove people as you're cleaning up your database. And then you can simply keep, you would just go through and cherry pick. Like I said, the 4 and the 5 stars, the people that jump out at you. I know that some are going to be easier than others. Once you've gone through and you feel like you've taken a good swing at establishing your 4 and your 5 stars, you should then take a look at the types that were assigned upon import. For that, right above this list of names, you're going to see rank mode. That's how I'm currently seeing what everybody's rank is. So if I were to unclick this, you'll see everybody goes back to white, and I can no longer see the ranks. So if I click on rank mode, it's going to display that again. If I click on type mode to the right of that, it's going to display for me their active types. So are they a prospect? Are they a customer? Are they a business builder of some sort? So in this case, I could say to myself, oh, you know what? Oh, actually, no, Melanie is a customer. Christy's a customer, coach. So you would just go through and adjust those that jump out at you. Again, you will have the opportunity to readjust or fix anyone that kind of ends up in a weird category, or maybe if it changes as you move forward. So these are just tips for kind of getting that setup process going so that you can start to connect with people. So you can start to rely on the Power Hour tools that we've built in. Okay, so going through that list, okay, you're going to be ranking and typing people. If, let's say, at some point, as you're going down the list, if you think to yourself, you know what, I need to add this piece of information, or, Marlo just sent me his new address, you could just pop right into the system and update that. But you may also find yourself in the situation where you had one email address on one file, then an address on another. So through that consolidation, you may realize that, oh, the phone number didn't come through, or something along those lines. So you want to simply click on the person's name. This becomes their active profile to the right. So we'll see Marlo's name. We see his ranking here. So if I wanted to readjust his ranking, I could click this drop down and it would let me switch it here. If I scroll down, I'll notice that Marlo is tagged as one of my Facebook friends, and I had tagged him as product as an example. So that's sort of an example of how you can use those tags, how they're super instrumental, especially when you're going through setup, to kind of jog your memory of how you know these people or how you were serving them previously. All right, so that's the tagging. Now I can take a look at the follow-ups. I can look at my spreadsheet and say, oh, you know what, I was supposed to follow up with Marlo on Saturday. Don't grab your calendar, don't reach for Post-it notes, don't add it to your spreadsheet. Go ahead and track that follow-up right in Teamzy. So you'll see that Marlo has his own follow-up line here. Again, we're still in Marlo's profile. So I would come down to the follow-up line. Now from here, I can see that there's a little default. That means that I'm going to follow up with Marlo every 60 days because he's 4 stars. If I wanted it to be 30 days, I would make him a 5-star. So adjust the rank, you adjust the follow-up. Alrighty. Let's say, you know what, but no, I don't want to follow up with Marlo in 60 days. I need to follow up with him on Saturday. So I'm not grabbing my calendar. I'm going to select the little drop down. And now Teamzy is going to let me choose from one of the presets. Do you want to check in with him in a couple days, in 4 days, in a week? Or I can come down to the custom date and I can actually stipulate, you know what, I'm going to follow up with him on Saturday. That now becomes his next follow-up date. Teamzy will automatically remind me to follow up with Marlo. Without solicitation, I don't necessarily need to go and look for him or anything like that. It's just going to come on up. So now that you know how to set your follow-ups directly from as you're going into setup, that's something to keep in mind, okay? Because I know that's often a little column that you have on your own spreadsheets, letting you know when you're going to follow up next. If you do, then know that when you're going through setup, just open up the person's profile. Oh, you know what, I'm supposed to follow up with Rachel in 2 weeks. So I'll select this drop down, 2 weeks. That now becomes Rachel's profile. Excuse me, that now becomes her follow-up date. So that's going to be how you can set follow-ups as you're going through setup. In addition to adjusting follow-up dates, like I said earlier, let's say you have a piece of information you want to add. Marlo sent me an email address, a new email address, let me add that. So I click on Marlo's name, I see his name at the top of the profile, I can scroll down, I see his first and last name, I've got areas for email, phone number, address. So I would simply click in the field I want to change. I would start making the adjustment. And then when I'm finished, I will click anywhere else on the screen and the system is going to give me a success message, letting me know that it automatically saved that data and I can move on to the next step, okay? So you just click on the field, click anywhere else when you're done and it will do an automatic save. Now, just to cover what areas there are for information, you have contact details, so you know what you would use to reach out to someone. And then you've got social media links as well. So social media links we're going to cover a little bit more when we get into your Power Hour session. But really, I love these because it keeps me from having to search for the person in Facebook or find their profile in LinkedIn. If I save their link, I can click on it and it brings them right up. So if I wanted to add a profile, add a social media link, let's say I go down to Eric Johnson. Eric and I are now friends on Facebook. So if I go over to Facebook, I search for Eric, I open up his full profile. Now the link that you're looking for is in the URL bar. So you're gonna see where it says facebook.com. If I click in there, it's gonna highlight the entire link. It's usually just the person's name after a /. So I'm gonna copy this, bring it back over to Teamzy, and I'm going to drop that in where it says Facebook. I click anywhere else, it does an automatic save. I now have Eric's quick link so that I can get to his Facebook. Pardon me. When we go over the Power Hour in a couple of minutes, I'm gonna show you guys how I quickly access that. All right, so that's gonna be how you add information. In addition to contact details and social media links, you also have areas for personal details like their birthday, spouse's name, child's name, pets, things that just kind of help you personalize your service a little bit. If you collect a piece of information that doesn't fit perfectly into any of those fields, we have also made a general notes section for you. So we'll see, again, we're looking at Eric's profile here. I've got that tagline, follow-ups, member type, and then I see his details, right? So that's the contact information, his first and last name. But if I click on notes, it's going to open up a blank notes section so that I can basically make a quick note if I need to. And then once I've added to the notes, I would select update in the lower right. So the notes area is the one section that you want to be looking for that update button, just so that you can save anything that you've added. But this gives you a place to sort of make a notation to you, from you. It's a great way to kind of reference where you left off with people, okay, without having to copy and paste every single thing verbatim, including their responses and things like that. Okay, so that's going to be how we add notes to the system. If at any point you wanted to adjust someone over to, let's say I wanted to make Eric a customer, I could click on, in his profile, there's a member type line as well. If I click on customer, it now makes him a customer. If I make him a coach, it's going to drop down an additional selection so that I can say, you know what, he's actually a personally sponsored coach. That just means, are you the person that, that invited this individual to take advantage of the business opportunity? Okay, so that's going to be that additional designation. Or are they just a business builder from your fellow team? Or are they from someone in your downline? So that's kind of how you're going to figure when you're retyping people. Okay, So as you're going through setup, those are going to be the things that come up. Adding and editing details, removing people outright, setting your follow-ups, okay? Now, once you've gone through that and you've done that ranking stage and the typing, you're now ready to start leaning into Teamzy for its Power Hour tools, okay? Because now you've told the system where everybody stands as far as priority, so we know who you want to spend more of your time, energy, and resources on. That's the name of the game, okay? So that's why you want to spend some time going through and prioritizing the people in your database. Disclaimer, many people feel like, oh, well, if I don't get through the whole list, I can't use Teamzy. Nope, you can get started right away. You can absolutely start connecting with people even before you do the ranking and the prioritizing. This can be done, okay, by simply heading over to your dashboard, which is going to be your virtual accountability partner, okay? This is your Power Hour hub where you come to find out what you're doing and when. You're gonna come over to your dashboard and this is going to list for you who you're gonna connect with. If you have not done the ranking or the prioritizing, you'll notice that everyone is just gonna start to filter in the list. In that case, you can start to rank people as they come up for connection. So when you see the name, you can readjust it. So let's say, for example, on this list, William is my first person for prospect connection. So I would basically click the little drop down to the left of his name and it would let me change his rank. So if I'm thinking, oh, you know what, William is actually a 5-star, then I'm just gonna go ahead and change it. That updates the system and it would rearrange him in the priority, okay? So please know you do not have to rank every name. You can go in and cherry pick some people to start and then just kind of whittle away at it little by little. All right, now that we've chatted through the setup process, okay, there may be some other things that, that you come across during setup. If you have additional questions, you can reach out to me. But let's talk your power hours. So like I said a moment ago, your dashboard is going to be your virtual accountability partner. The reason I say this is because it is going to let you know at one glance how close or how far you are from meeting your actual income goal, okay? So at one glance, from meeting your activity goal for the day. So at one glance, you will see your daily activities. This is going to arrange for you each category: prospects, customers, and business builders, whatever your categories are. So what you'll say is, okay, I've got 6 prospects that I need to connect with today. I have 4 customers and I have 3 coaches. So that's how you'll read it, okay? The categories on top, the number left underneath is what you need to complete. As you start to progress through your day, this will fill in. So that little wheel is actually gonna fill in its progress so that you'll be able to see, like I said, at one glance, how much more you need to do. How much further do I need to go, okay? So let's say for the day I logged in and I have 6 prospects to connect with. I would scroll down to what's known as my Who's Up Next section. What we see here, this is going to be the tool that arranges for you who you're gonna connect with and when, okay? So this list is filtering by priority. So this is going to bring up your 5 stars first, your 4 stars, 3 stars, and so on. So in this case, if you're thinking, oh, okay, so William came up for connection, so I would basically know William is here because I have not logged a connection in the last 30 days, and he's a 5-star. If you need a reminder of what the breakdown is for each, there's a little tiny question mark to the right of the Who's Up Next words. If you click that, it's just gonna bring up that little report that we covered earlier. 30, 60, 90, 120 days. Okay, so what I would basically do is I would just start connecting with people. The first person that comes up, Teamzy is going to unfold for me a little conversation box. Conversation box. So it's a little tiny connect section here. It's got the person's name, and then you're gonna have an area to actually jot down the details of that conversation or connection. So you can copy and paste verbatim what you send to people. That's a really great habit. I love, that's the way that I do things, just so that I know exactly what I send to people, because I do a lot of texts and emails, things like that. So in that case, I would basically get to just jot down what William and I talked about. But really, what do I want to say? How do I know William again? You may find yourself in that situation when you're looking at a list of 1,000 names that are starting to filter through. You might need a little bit of a reminder of the nature of that relationship or how you were serving them in the past. So what you can do, right from the dashboard without clicking anywhere else, you can select activity. This is going to let you see, okay, have I tracked any activity with William in the past? Doesn't look like I have. I can click on details. Oh, that's right. William and I are Facebook friends and he's interested in product X. Oh, so these are kind of refreshers for you, okay? Just a great way for you to have a starting point. Even if you need to go and pull them up on Facebook or pull them up on Instagram, you can now do that. So this gives you the opportunity, like I said, just to sort of view your tags, view any information you have about that person. You can also see any notes that you made directly from the dashboard. And that kind of gives you the opportunity while you're connecting with them to pull up information that you can use, reminders for them, things like that. So from the dashboard, you can access full details. You can access notes and you can track your activity. So let's see how easy it is to track. When I'm ready to connect with William, what I can do is basically jot down what I want to say here, or I can go over to Facebook and send him his message, because Facebook messages and text messages need to be sent through Facebook. So here's what I do. I'm going to come down to where I see what was your conversation. And honestly, you could sit here and you could decide, you know, if you've got a specific message that you're going to send or an email or something, you would just put that right in there. But if you're not sure what to say, if you're looking at a list of lukewarm prospects and you're thinking, I don't even know where to begin, some of these people, it's a reconnection. So in that case, we have built in scripts and dialogues for you. They're great little starting points so that you can kind of plant that seed and start to build consistent connection over time. In the upper right-hand corner of each connection, you've got a little script option. If you click on script, it's going to open up another question that's sort of, how do you want to connect with this person? Do you want to send them a Facebook message, an email, a text, Instagram? So I want to send him a Facebook message because we're Facebook friends. I'm going to click there, and it's going to bring up for me all of my prospect-based scripts that are great for sending through Facebook. These are going to be one-liners, okay? These are great ways to sort of start a conversation. They're a way to just sort of stop by and love on them without really agonizing over every word. So if it's connection number 1, I would simply go to connect number 1. If it was follow-up number 7, I would come down to follow-up number 7. If it was follow-up number 9. So we have follow-up number 1 all the way to follow-up number 10, and then you've also got connect number 1 through connect number 3. So let's say this is connect number 1. I'm going to click there, and now Teamzy gives me a copy script option, so I don't have to highlight it if I don't want to. I can copy script. Now with my process, I actually copy and paste exactly what I'm going to send the person, so I know exactly what I sent. I update the name. You know, I can personalize it, you know, add a little bit, add a little sweet nothing or whatever the case may be. Or you can just, you know, personalize it based on the products that they're using. You can add anything that just sort of lets them know you've personalized your service for them. And then I would come over to Facebook. I usually have the 2 open so I can toggle back and forth. I find the person on my list, send them a message, come back over to Teamzy. I would indicate now by selecting the type how I connected with him. Now what's cool is this is going to create a pattern for you so that you can see what they respond better to. Are they a text kind of person? Do they like email? Do they like Facebook? All right. Now I would have the option to indicate, is this an invite? Am I intentionally calling him to take action on something? Remember we talked about it earlier. Did I invite him to join me for an event, try a product, anything like that? Nope, this was just a check-in, so I won't need to check mark that box. Now I can log that connect. This sends a message to my dashboard that I have connected with one of my prospects. It removed William from my list of prospects for the day, and it brings up another name. So you're always looking at 5 viable names. We're not going to give you the whole list on the dashboard so you don't get overwhelmed, okay? If you want your whole list, you can head over to the team page. So Teamzy has now run that filter. It lets me know based on priority and the last point of communication, you need to connect with Becky next. Okay, so it looks like Becky is a 3-star. So I'm starting to get into more of my 3 stars again. I could quickly say, you know what, actually Becky should be a 2-star. You'll notice the system does a refresh. It pushes her down the list where she needs to go based on when I want to connect with her, and it's going to bring up the rest of my prospects. I would move on then to the next name on the list. Once I'm finished with that list, once I've gotten through the next 5 prospects, okay, so I've completed my goal for the day, I would move on to my customers. And you'll notice that Teamzy has now arranged a list of customers. Sorry, it looks like my connection is lagging there. Okay, so if I come over to my list of customers, Teamzy has done the same sort of thing, where it's now refreshed my list. It's filtered the customers who have the highest priority to the top. And I'm now just gonna go through that list without having to scrub anything down, without having to figure out where I left off last, because now I can see, okay, you know what? Melanie and I have not connected before. It looks like, oh, okay, she's a Facebook friend of mine. I've got her notes, okay. So in this case, I could basically jot down what I wanted to connect with Melanie about, or I can access more of those scripts, okay? Let's say that Melanie and I chat about an upcoming group that I'm organizing. I can say, chat about upcoming challenge group, we'll say, in this case for my network. What I would do is I would indicate again how I connected with that person. Let's say that she and I spoke by phone. But you know what? I'm actually inviting her to join me for my next group. So I'm going to indicate here that it's an invite. And now Teamzy is going to give me additional types. So I'm going to say, you know what? This is for a free group, or it's for a challenge group, or it's for an opportunity, whatever the case may be for that invite. I am now creating a report that I can pull to see, you know what, how many invites did I send for groups versus trying the product versus other options on the list. Okay. Now, in addition to that, you know what, Melanie needs to run, but I really want to check in with her tomorrow and make sure she has all the details and she knows I'm pumped she's going to join me. But Melanie is a 3-star, so she's not coming up for 90 days. No. Don't grab the calendar or the Post-it notes. Go ahead and set the follow-up in real time. So I can click in the upper right-hand corner of this little connect area. I can select where it says follow-up and default. I'll select the little drop-down, and it's going to give me some presets. So I can say, oh, okay, is it going to be tomorrow, in 2 days? Is it in 4 days? Or am I going to go to that custom date like we did earlier? I want to follow up with her tomorrow, and I'm going to log that connect. This now communicates to the dashboard that I've connected with another customer. It actually tracked that invite in real time, and it set a follow-up for Melanie. So in addition to your prompted follow-ups from Teamzy based on their default, you are also going to have a list of custom follow-ups that you may have set. So any day that you come in, you might have people that you're connecting with based on their priority. But you're also going to have your follow-ups list. So you'll notice I have prospects, I have customers, I have coaches, and then I also have follow-ups. So what's awesome is when I log in tomorrow, I will actually have a notification here, like a little pop-up bubble above the word follow-up that will let me know, okay, you need to look here because you have a custom follow-up. You need to check in with these people for whatever reason. So in addition to knowing who you need to connect with proactively, okay, because of your custom follow-ups and things that you were reaching out about, you've also, in addition to your proactive follow-ups that you're doing based on the defaults, people coming up, you're also going to have your customized follow-ups, whether you're checking in on products or their progress through a service or a system or a new workout plan or anything like that. So know that you have the option to set your own custom follow-ups. Teamzy is going to arrange for you on your dashboard 5 names at a time. 5 names at a time. If you're thinking, I know I have more follow-ups today, or I want to see all of my customers, we're going to head over to your team page. From here, this is going to arrange for you, like we talked about earlier, every single person in your database. But you can actually sort that view a little bit if you don't want to see all 1,000 names. Pardon me, I'm going to take a sip of water. If you don't want to see all 1,000 names at once, you can actually filter. Middle left of your screen, you've got team members, and I can now see only my prospects, or I can see only my customers, or only my coaches, or business builders, or whatever the case is for your network. And if I scroll down far enough, I can actually see all of my upcoming follow-ups year to date. So if you have 20 set, in there, and you're like, I want to see all of them so that I can time block appropriately or anything like that, you can always come over to your team page, select upcoming under follow-ups, middle left, and you'll see your full list. In addition to the follow-ups list, you've also got tags that you may have created, okay? So we created a Facebook tag, so it'll give me everybody that I've tagged as Facebook. And if I click on product, it'll bring up everybody that I've tagged as product. Or if I've got follow-up from an event date, or if I'm following up about, samples that I sent out or anything like that, know that you can create batched lists for yourself so that you can follow up and just kind of create campaigns and things like that. All right, so we've talked through the majors of setup. I've highlighted some of the features that you want to focus on during your power hours. And then we talked about how easy it is to manage your follow-ups in the system. I do have a few more things that I want to share with you and kind of pinpoint, but I do want to open up the floor to questions you all may have. So please feel free to jump in that Q&A section because we'll jump into those specific questions. And then after, I'm going to get back into the system and demo for you a few other areas that I think you should focus on. Thanks for sticking with me. All right, guys, I'm going to share my contact information with you for anybody that does need to jump off of the call now. Oops. Okay, so you should have my contact information up on screen now. I'm going to take a look at that Q&A section and then we'll jump back in. So feel free to grab a screenshot or just jot that down. I will put it back up at the end of the call. All right, so I'm going to pull that down and we'll get back into Teamzy here. Okay, so first question. So Deborah wants to know if she has to take a day off for one of the days of the week or something like that, is there a way to account for that in the activity benchmarks set by the goal income? So currently your goals on your dashboard are going to be displayed for you on a 7-day week, okay, Monday through Sunday. And there is no way to say, you know what, I don't work on Saturdays or I don't work on Sundays. You would simply want to take a step back and say, you know what, then I need to do, instead of 5 per day, maybe I need to do 10 per day to make up for that for a couple of days that I take off or something along those lines. For now, you can always adjust your goal. Also, if you need to, like you can go back to the goals and say, I want to do, 15 per day because I don't work on Fridays or I don't work on Thursday. To do that, in the upper right-hand corner of your dashboard, you've got Edit Daily Goals. If you click that, it's going to bring you back to the income, but you don't have to change the income, so you can just hit Continue, Continue again, and now you're at the breakdown. So you can say, you know what, I'm actually going to do 16 per day instead of 15 to make up for, the one Friday or Friday, Saturday that I don't work. So short answer, the system does not automatically compensate for taking a day off, but you can always go in and just sort of adjust your numbers, like I said, per your dynamic. All right, so let's head back. Okay, so is there a way to save a JPEG file to our Teamzy profiles? Currently, there is not. That is something that our development team is considering, so you might see that come down the pipeline. Anytime we make a change like that, we'll always send out an email to our users so that you're aware of how to use it. Okay, so for now, JPEGs cannot be saved in the system, but you can, however, save a hyperlink. So if you wanted to link it to a profile or an image or something like that, you can do that. And in that case, it's basically going to be when you're sending if you go over to Team and you're looking at a profile, you could always save a hyperlink in one of the profile areas or in the notes section. And then that would let you just kind of click over to an image or something along those lines. So that's a small workaround for now, but like I said, you might see that option here soon. All right, guys, feel free to jump in that Q&A or in the chat section, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. I am going to jump back in and show you guys a few more of the features that I really like in Teamzy. Okay, so from your dashboard, when we were talking through power hours and features that are going to help you really build momentum and start tons of conversations in an hour, in 2 hours, if that's what you have for your business, you definitely want to lean into those scripts and dialogues. But also, if you're someone that likes to send emails, if you have a client base that is particularly receptive to emails, you can actually send emails directly through Teamzy. Okay, so what your option is here is if you are a Gmail subscriber. If you are a Gmail subscriber, you have an option to set up an integration so that you can actually send emails straight through the system. When you're ready, you would simply select type, let's say I'm sending an email to Becky. I would scroll down to where I see her name here. And now instead of starting to type my message like we did earlier, I'm going to select type, and in that drop down, you'll notice send email with the word new by it. So if I click on new, it's actually going to bring up the body of an email. So I can customize, or I can actually pull up a previous template or script that I have saved. So if you have a killer email, an invite email or a product email or something like that, that you want to send to people in your database, you can save them on file. And then you can actually access them like this. So I'll hit, oops. So let's say I am selecting to send an email. It brings up my blank email. Now in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice it says Browse Scripts. If I click here, I'm going to come down to email. And now this is going to arrange for me all of my email scripts. So any that I had saved custom or any of the pre-written ones that Teamzy provides. So I'll see here, I've got a product email, just as an example. So you'll notice that these emails do allow you to save hyperlinks. You can't add an image or attach an image at this time, but that is something else that we're considering. So for now, I would have the opportunity to hit send email. I would simply update the person's name, scroll down and hit send. Now, this is sending an individual email to an individual. So there's not a bulk email function in Teamzy as of now, but you do have the opportunity to just pull up a template and send it off. So this is just going to be another one of those tools that you can use to kind of, leverage that time that you do have, the hour to send out to 10 people or 20 people. It makes it a lot more possible. Alrighty, so we have now gone over the fact that you can, like I said, as a Gmail user, actually link your Gmail. If you're thinking, how do I do that link? In the upper right-hand corner, earlier we clicked on the little wheel to get to your setup wizard. So I want you to click on that wheel again and come down to settings. From here, middle left, you've got preferences, and second from the bottom will be billing. So if you click on billing, it's actually going to open up for you. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going back to settings, and you're selecting integrations, third from the bottom. Integrations is going to bring up your app integration. So it's going to say get connected if you haven't done the Gmail connection. Or it's going to say Gmail successfully connected if you've already done so. The connection is super simple. It's going to be 3 or 4 quick steps. It just wants to make sure that you are logged into the right Gmail account, and then it's going to go ahead and do the sync. So to link your Gmail, head to the little wheel, and then go over to your integrations tab. Alrighty, so that's going to be how you can send emails directly from Teamzy. Another element that makes connecting with people and just getting through the business on a day-to-day a little easier is getting to do it on the go. So Teamzy does not currently have an app. However, you can access Teamzy on the go from your cell phone. You can access through our mobile site. Okay, so you're going to go to, so if you're an Android or an iPhone user, just open up your browser of choice. And you're going to type in what you see in my URL now. So the word app, app.teamzy.com. App.teamzy.com. Once you've typed that in and it brings up the Teamzy homepage, go ahead and log in and save your login credentials. Now I'm going to stop my share really quickly just to show you. Okay. So on my phone, for example, what I've done is I actually saved that mobile site as a shortcut on my home screen. So I can tap on this, and it's actually going to load my Teamzy. I'm sorry if that glare is really terrible. But it's going to show me what I've completed. I have my wheel so that I know how much I've completed for the day. If I scroll down, I'll have the number of people that I need to, I'll have the names of the people that I need to connect with, and I'll see customers and prospects and the number of follow-ups. I can send emails on the go. So if you have not already, start leveraging the ability to send, to connect with people and use your Teamzy on the go. Alrighty, now, back in Teamzy, we started all of this by discussing your income goal, right? The fact that where you wanted to be 12 months from now. So it's going to be important for you to track your progress to that goal, right? So that we know how close or how far you are. On the left-hand side, you've got a really great business tab built in. If you click on business, it's going to display for you your business statistics. There's a word I struggle with. This is going to display for you your income goal. pardon me. You're gonna have your income goal. It's gonna let you know how much your actual goal is. So I know that my goal is $100,000 for the year, and I know that I've tracked 20,000 toward that goal. So this is going to work just like the wheel on your dashboard. It's gonna let you know how close you are to meeting that goal for the year. If you'd like to add income, you're gonna click the little plus symbol here, or in the upper right-hand corner, you've got a little add income option. This is going to give you an itemized income report, okay? This is really awesome because you can enter income by date range. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to enter for every check I've gotten, that's okay. Go ahead and enter, from January until now, from February until now, whatever the case is. You can just go ahead and enter the total dollar amount here. Okay, you'll come down and enter the date range. And you can backdate even into 2016 if you needed to create sort of like a side-by-side comparison for your strategic planning. You can do that. You would add the income. This now gets added as a line item and it updates my overall income report. Now from there, I also have, at one glance, I can see how many total customers do I have? How many total coaches or business builders do I have, depending on your network? And then if you scroll down far enough, you're gonna have a growth report. So this is broken down for you, sort of how many customers have I grown versus business builders. And then if you go down further, you're gonna have your activities broken down in the same way. How am I growing the number of activities that I'm completing for each group month to month? Scrolling further down that list, we've got your ratios breakdown. So we've got the number of connects that it takes to generate a sale, the number of sales that it takes to convert someone into the business builder or business opportunity stage. And then you've got your total number of all-time connections. Last option on this page is going to be an itemized activity report. So for those of my friends on the call that are, more paper and pen kind of guy and gal, this gives you the opportunity to actually export your progress, okay? So you can see, a full list of everything that you've completed with each person for the day, for the week, for the month, and so on. This report is even cooler because you can select the filter option and say, you know what, I want to see only the invites that I sent, and only the invites for a product, or only the invites for an event, or for a group, or anything like that. Okay, so this is that report that will allow you to sort of, print that out and stay accountable with your overall team. If you guys have team goals and things like that, this is a really great tool so that you can stay on track. All right, so that's going to be your business tab in a nutshell, and that can be exported and printed if you needed to. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to take a look at the Q&A, see if you've got any additional questions. If not, we will wrap this thingy up. Thanks for sticking around. Okay, I think we've got everything in the Q&A, and I don't see anything in the chat. All right, guys, last thing that I want to mention for you is, the last thing I want to point out to you is that you do have a portal for continued education, okay? Sort of learning more about Teamzy as you dive in a little bit further. On the left-hand side of your screen, you've got a university tab. If you click there, that's going to list for you all of the FAQs, tutorial videos, previous webinars, things like that. If you ever need a refresher, if you pick up someone new on the team, you just want to get them some quick training, this is a great place to start. So you can find your network, okay? And you would simply select that and it would bring up for you all of the FAQs for that network specifically. How to export your, for example, how to import LinkedIn connections. How to get your customers lists from your back office, how to import a CSV file, how to get your contacts from your smartphone. So all of those tutorial videos and FAQs live, again, like I said, in your university tab here on the left-hand side. All right. I've already gotten some great feedback on this call. We love feedback. We love suggestions because we do, in fact, tailor each version based on the needs of that network. So please let us know what you're liking, loving, what you would like to see more of, that kind of thing. In the upper right-hand corner, you have a little community button. Okay, that will link you to our Facebook community. You're directly going to contact us. We've got a really great response time on there, so we're usually talking to you in real time just so that we can get to the bottom of what you need. In addition to that, if you need help and you're thinking for whatever reason you don't want to contact me, or you don't have my contact information for whatever reason, lower right-hand corner, you have a help button, okay? That button gets you a direct line to our support team here in-house, so you are talking to a real person. Feel free to jot any questions down in there and we will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, I think that is everything that I wanted to cover for tonight's webinar. You will stumble across different things. We are constantly refining and adjusting and updating the system, like I said, based on your needs, so keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna take a look in that Q&A and in the chat if you have any additional questions. Please feel free to stick with me. I'll stick around if you've got additional questions. Thank you again for your time tonight. Okay, so Deborah wants to know, how do I add Teamzy to my home screen from the iPhone? So because I have an iPhone, I can absolutely show you that. So I'm going to, now the glare is gonna be a bit of a pain. You know what, it's not if I adjust this light slightly. Okay. All right, so what you're gonna do is so let's say that you've already gone to your browser, okay? You logged into app.teamzy.com. And now you're logged into your dashboard. So it looks like this, okay? So you're looking at your dashboard. At the very bottom, you should have this little bar, okay? I'm not sure if you can see that. Should have a little, what looks like a little book. Should have also like a little box with an arrow pointing up. I want you to tap on the box with the arrow pointing up. From there, you're gonna have a list of menu options on the bottom. You can scroll that to the right until you see Add to Home Screen. From there, you can go ahead and add it directly to your home screen. If you're looking at Chrome or another browser, it might look a little bit different, but you can always reach out to me, Deborah, and we can get a one-on-one call and I'll walk you through it until we find it. I promise you too can do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to jump in the Q&A in the chat if you do have any additional questions. I'm gonna put my contact information up just in case you need to grab that before you go. And as always, I do appreciate your time. We hope that you love Teamzy. Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now. Way to go.